Welcome back to Screen Preach. Whoa. Yeah, and this is fire. Let me just say it. This is fire right here. This whole new setup for season 2 is the way it should have been right from the start. Wow, this sounds so much better being right here. I don't know what this is. Do I even need this fucking thing? What is this thing? This thing here. What is this? I read something once on one page that's like, you want to get this thing, because then, you don't ever want to talk directly into the fucking... I'm doing it right now, and it sounds great. Episode 51, Season 2 premiere of Screen Preach. And we're going to talk about movies in the name of the Godfather, the Son of Odin, and the Holy Jedi. Nothing has changed in that regard. Nothing has changed on your end, except that maybe you actually watch more than you did, or less than you did. Or you actually watch, whereas before you didn't. Or you stopped. Nothing has changed on your end. I'm switching it up, and look at this setup I got here. Trial and error, of course. We got to see what I fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, this could fall. This right here could fall because I'm using tacks right now. I'm surprised it's still standing right now. I gotta get legit hangers, but we'll get there. How's everybody doing? What'd you watch this week? What did you eat this week? What did you... yeah, I mean, there's been some stuff to watch. Obviously, we're gonna get into the two topics of the day. Starting next week, too, there's no... we go back a little bit to the original format where we just talk about one movie a week, and they're kind of going to be 30-minute episodes, 35-minute episodes. Nice, fun, quick little things here. No recaps. There's no TV recaps starting again next week until Loki. I'm not going to do The Bad Batch. I was thinking about it, doing Star Wars The Bad Batch, but I'm not going to do it because I don't think it's quite the same thing. More people watch the Marvel Disney Plus shows than they do the Star Wars animated shows, so I think it makes more sense to just stick to the Marvel recaps. I'll start doing Mandalorian recaps when that comes back. Any live action stuff for sure. And then who knows? I don't know. Maybe down the road, if there's an animated show that really, really grabs my geekiness, I'll do recaps for it. Like, I like The Bad Batch. I'm looking forward to having more Star Wars. That's gonna be cool. But it's not like I'm not like blown away. Like, I'm not upset. I'm not like, that wasn't a concept to me that's like, oh my god, they're doing something for this clone trooper group battalion, the Bad Batch. I remember those guys from that. I don't. It's whatever. It's cool. It's not like something that, like, if they did an animated show. Let me tell you right now what they need to do. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now what they need to. I keep reading the Legends storyline, the books and the comics, though. That storyline is pretty fucking fire, dude. Honestly, what they need to do over there at fucking Lucasfilm Story Group bastards screwing up things for fans who really loved where things were or where they were going in Legends media and in the regular find a way to make an alternate reality a legit thing, and then do an animated series adapting the Legends books. Adapt the Legends storyline to an animated series like Clone Wars. Yeah, that would be fucking awesome. You can't do live action because you'd want to use... Like, Clone Wars was cool because they used Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, all the characters that we knew, and it continued their story, literally. This would be... You'd want to use Luke Skywalker. You'd want to use Leia Organa and Han Solo and Chewbacca. You'd want to use those characters. You can't use them in live action. You can't recast... I know, everyone's like, make Sebastian Stan Luke Skywalker. But okay, fine, maybe. That would be cool. But I'm not, like... It's still not that cool. Like, it's weird still, I think. But whatever. Like, you'd want to use those characters. And you could do the Legends storyline, which was different from what the sequels did. It just was much different. There were similarities, but it was different. And different in better ways, different in worse ways, I guess. It had its, flaws, but it also is really, really, it's been really good so far. I'm on iJedi right now, and I love that it's the first person perspective story so far, and it's from one of the newer characters' perspectives. It's really cool, and it's a character I like a lot, so I think that's cool. But the characters we're introduced to there would make great new characters in an animated series, and I just think that would be the coolest thing they could do. Then I'll do recaps. If they do that, I'll do recaps. So, yeah, other than that, movies. Our topic today is Mortal Kombat. And I did see it in a movie theater. And it was totally worth just being in honestly, it was just the theater experience again was nice. And something like that makes sense in a theater. I will get into the movie and why it wasn't something that, it's not like, oh my God, I needed to see it was what it was, but I think it was better because I saw it in a theater for sure. Just saw it today. Just saw it. I went to a 4:00 showing, and I love when you come out. I came out at 6, and still the light was the same outside. Like that's like the perfect time right before dark. It's light when you go in. It's light when you come out. I always was a big morning movie guy. I'd love to go to like an early showing, like in the morning, and then you have the rest of the day. I always liked that. That was always my cool like rewatch shit. When I would want to go see something again, like Endgame or Star Wars or whatever, like I'd go in the morning on the second show, and the first showing's always at night for some reason. It's just what it is. But the morning show, yeah, I always liked that. Movie wise, what else? Nothing really. I mean, I'm gonna start doing I have a whole list of episodes coming up. Can't wait to talk about them. Oscar season's here, and the Oscars I think are this weekend or next weekend, and so I will talk about more of the Oscar contenders. We'll see who wins. I think Nomadland's gonna win, but I will talk about more of the films that are nominated. I think next week I'll do 52. I'll do Promising Young Woman because I've been wanting to do that one, so that might be next week. TV shows, still finally watching Jessica Jones season 3, finally. And I'm doing it simultaneously with Daredevil season 3 and Punisher season 2. A good choice of 3 seasons to do at the same time, simultaneously, because those characters are fun to work with all at the same to watch all the same. I forgot to turn my TV off. I hope there's no glare. There's glares left and right now with this new setup. I can't help it. It's just what it is. You see, I can't, there's no way to fix that. I'm going to see what it's like. I'm sure one of these weeks to do a day shoot, but I think that would be worse with the glares. And that's it. The obvious is here, so let's get into it. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 6, finale recap, right? Spoiler-filled recap. And I'm going to get into it deep this week because there actually was a couple things I didn't like about it. But it's still totally... now, hold on. We got our usual weekly... It wouldn't be Screen Preach without our usual. So let's have those sirens come on through. And friends of the show, come on through, Sirens. The LA... FDLA? Is that it? Fire Department of Los Angeles? Yeah, I think that's it. Right? Yeah, there they are. This episode of Screen Peach. The word is preach. The word is preach. But you know what? The peach now, I think, is just... I think, honestly, the peach is the logo. It's like the secondary logo for the show. Now. No joke. That would be funny if I did that. I should do that on the merch drop coming. There's a merch drop coming for patrons, don't forget. And yeah, that would be funny. I might actually do something with that. This week's episode, the finale, it's our last week of Marvel till Loki comes out. And I think it's worth talking about why this episode was so emotional compared to the other ones, like even more so. Like I actually legitimately cried at one point. I'm not gonna lie, like the Isaiah Bradley shit really got me. It really got me today. I just watched the episode. I watched the episode Mortal Kombat, and then I came home and I watched the episode. So we're fresh in the head, and we're gonna go for it. Here we go. Right off the bat, they pick up right where they left off. So great. Obviously, we get a lot of action for like a solid. I think the whole first half of the episode is solid action, and yeah, he came through. Sam Wilson came through in his new duds with wielding that shield and wearing that outfit as Captain America, and you knew it was coming. It's not like it's a spoiler or anything. That's not a spoiler. It was hinted at last week. It made sense. Makes sense still. And he was kicking ass. He was getting his ass kicked a little bit, but he was also kicking ass. I liked how there was a couple of direct nods, like callbacks to kind of how Steve would fight, and Sam and Bucky kind of having their little moments with that. Like, for instance, the way that Sam and Batroc fight each other is similar, once again reminiscent to Steve and Batroc fighting each other. Even the shield kick that like hits him, and that was a great move. And we've seen that before from Steve, so that was cool. And sirens, come on. You know what's funny to me about the sirens? There's nobody in front of you. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Like, it gets to like 10 o'clock or whatever. Like, there's less people on the road. I always look out there. There's less. The sirens are on for who? Who you telling to move? Okay, as I was saying, I love how it's actually early still, compared to what last week was. It's 10 o'clock. That's actually early. I think Sam has definitely shown that he's practiced. His training kind of paid off. His moves were stellar. There were a lot of really cool moves, and I'm looking forward to seeing more combinations of what the Falcon wings and the Cap shield together do. We already got like 4 new things here, new moves that were really cool to see. Choreography was cool. The fight scenes were cool. But nothing topped that helicopter rescue. Obviously, the way he tossed the shield in and then came flying through, and that was great. That was the best. And it's a good look, and I love how we have these moments where he's telling people he's Captain America, and people are calling him Captain America. But the most important thing about that whole sequence was the end of it. We needed that speech. Even that scene made me feel like, for real, like I had goosebumps, because that's what this whole series was building to, I know people are complaining about this episode because it didn't seem to it wasn't what they expected to it didn't conclude. Again, I keep hearing this word, conclude. There's nothing to conclude. It's not concluding anything, because this is a long storyline. This is the start of something, not the end of something. Potential second season, right? Still, by the way, I know that just breaking news, like Captain America 4 was announced after the finale today. Like, it's official, with the showrunner of this show set to write and direct, I think, the 4th Captain America film with Sam Wilson as Captain America. I would assume even Bucky might even be in the film. And I would even assume that Power Broker is the main villain of the film. That's my assumptions. But aside from what's coming, I think you need to keep in mind still, once again, it's not concluding nothing. It's setting up. If anything, this sets up the new Captain America. It sets up Sam's next chapter, even Bucky's. Mostly Sam, though. Like, just the whole build to him being Captain America was what this was about. Some people might say, hey, well, then why couldn't we just do that in a 2-hour movie? You could have. But it's more... There's more narrative. There's more depth. There was a lot of depth. We got to meet more characters that maybe the movie couldn't give us. There was a lot, like, the expanding on Isaiah Bradley and even Eli Bradley. That maybe wouldn't have be able to fit in the movie, like if it was just a movie. And then John, because there were more characters to meet and build on. John Walker, I just don't think it would have worked as a movie. You needed this setup. You needed this, like, long movie to set up an actual movie. I think it makes sense. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I don't think there was a pacing problem here. I think it was very clear about the kind of show it was, the kind of story it was. It gave every kind of theme and, you know, social and political question that it raised its moment, its right amount of time, and concluded everything. I know it could seem like it concluded things quickly. That now I'm using the word concluded, not so much concluded as wrapped up. Like kind of, yeah, like the arc came to a point in this finale. It's not like it's concluded. It's not concluded. Because everything that was kind of wrapped up here is just a setup. It's just a setup for the next thing. At the same time as wrapping up what we've built to thus far. Every episode had its purpose, and I think Sam here, that speech was everything that the two opposing sides of this conflict were kind of, grappling with. All of the conflict at the center of this was literally summed up into a speech by Captain America himself and his relatability to it as being a black man. So it was perfect for the way to end that sequence. And in one swift motion, he's gained the confidence of people, rather effectively, with just one speech. And then John Walker pops in too. So the whole sequence, there's a lot of action on multiple ends. We have Bucky fighting Flag Smashers. We have John Walker fighting all of the Flag Smashers and Carly one-on-one. We have Bucky and John teaming up. We have Bucky and John and Sam teaming up. And John comes in as he's been, hot-headed and ready to go. Like, just full-blown revenge, motivation, nothing else. But he needed a moment where he kind of snaps out of it and sees things more clearly. He needed that moment, and he got it. When he saw people literally about to die, innocent people about to die, that truck, he could either let the vengeance consume him and go after Carly, or he could do the right thing and be something that actually would be worthy of that shield that he used to wield. And he does go after the civilians in need. And in that moment, it's not about being Captain America. It's actually just about being himself and what he actually is. It's about proving to himself in a way in that moment, who am I going to be? Who am I? Am I going to be that fucking guy that now the world sees me as? This crazy extremist sort of Captain America type, obsessed and unhinged person? Or am I going to be somebody who does the right thing in the right moments just because it is the right thing? And he does. And it kind of embodies what we see for his arc. He becomes his own symbol. He gains his own moniker. And that is, he's literally we have his moments. He wears his U.S. agent suit in the episode. It's as comic accurate, by the way, as you could possibly get for an MCU outfit. It's spot on the U.S. agent from the comics outfit, if you look at pictures. And I'm curious about his shield, because that's next. In the comics, he gets a shield. I don't recall what the material is. He could just probably get another vibranium shield, or we could finally have adamantium pop in. If you don't remember what adamantium is, it's what Wolverine's claws are made out of. And it's the second strongest metal in Marvel, behind vibranium. So we'll see what happens with that. But he became U.S. agent in that moment, and in this episode overall. And then Bucky had the moment I predicted he would have. He had to tell that old man what he did to his son, what he was responsible for. The pain and suffering that he was having was directly caused by what Bucky did. And yeah, that was sad, but In terms of pacing, I would call that out. I would probably call that moment out. It was quick. It seemed like they had to wrap it up all of a sudden quickly. But it's not like we weren't expecting that. It's not like it didn't do... It's not like it devalued anything. It's exactly the moment that would conclude Bucky's arc for the season, for the 6-episode storyline. So no complaints really there. The thing that I find myself complaining about is the whole Sharon Carter thing. Now, last week I didn't bring it up, but I mentioned real quick how the big theory was that Sharon Carter is power broker, and it was kind of so obvious that it didn't. And when it finally was revealed, it actually was like kind of annoying. And here's why this is the one thing I don't like, okay? Because there's no depth to this. Sharon did not pop up enough. This is my complaint. She didn't pop up enough as much as I thought she would in the show. And when she did, there was no depth to her, to why she's doing exactly what she's doing. And this twist doesn't hit the mark. This twist actually makes it worse because it does not match her character. It does not match her perspectives and motivations and viewpoints. Everything about Sharon that we've known before. And here's the thing: we don't know Sharon's full story. We don't know if she was snapped away. We might. It might have been revealed somewhere after Infinity War that she might have been one of the people snapped away, or she might not have been. Doesn't matter. The point is, at the end of the day, power broker Sharon Carter, an ally of Steve Rogers in the past, an ally of Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes in the past, was at the center of all this chaos. She literally financed the Flag Smashers in the beginning of all this. She's directly responsible for all of the chaos here. And it just doesn't, for me, until we know more, and they should have addressed it here, really. Instead of it being some kind of twist, it should have just kind of been more blatant that, okay, she's different now. And why is she different? Okay, here's why. And they didn't do that, and that was a problem. Because what we know of Sharon before this is that she believes in her country. She believes in serving her country and certain values that aligned very much with Steve. Because let's not forget who her aunt is, or was. Peggy Carter was her aunt. Peggy's entire perspectives on things were reflected in Sharon. So to have Sharon flip-flop like this into a completely opposite direction of all those things, of all those core values, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up, and it doesn't work for me, and I know it doesn't work for other people. Because as far as we know, all Sharon did was get banned from her country for helping Steve and Sam by stealing the shield and Sam's costume and helping them escape and all that stuff, right? So she was in trouble for that. But she knew what the fuck she was doing. She had no problem doing those things in that moment because she knew she could... The Sharon we know had no problem sacrificing all those things for what she believed in and what she believed was right. In Civil War, she... And that's just my point. I don't see why her getting in trouble for that would cause her to flip-flop like this. You're surprised that your country abandoned you when you did something against the... So I'm just confused as to why she's turning into literally a villain. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And that's where they failed in this series. That was the one thing. That just... It didn't land. It didn't land. If they had given her more... If we had learned more, even more, maybe more things that happened to her, maybe she was blipped away and she's been tossed aside by the government. Maybe if her motivations, if her experiences lined up more with Carly, then it would make more sense to me. But they didn't address that at all, so it just didn't land. I'm having a hard time with it. I'm really not liking it. I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie about that part of this. It has to be addressed, or it's really a big time flaw in the narrative here. But aside from all that, we don't have to. That moment does not ruin this episode in any way. It does not overshadow or undervalue this episode in any way, because there's just too many other good things going on. We have Cap. It was a long road, but we have Cap. He's here. Sam is worthy of that shield, and that speech was, and the whole world seeing it. It was powerful. And just how he inspired, literally, like what Captain America does is inspire people. And in that moment, he inspired people, man. Whew. And they cut around, and we see Torres, too, watching, and he's going to be the next Falcon, right? I didn't realize that in the comics he does. I would have brought this up last week, but I just didn't realize. If I had read the comics, I would know these things, see? But, yeah, Torres becomes the next Falcon. So it inspires him even more to watch Captain America say the things he's saying and do the things he's doing. Isaiah Bradley watching it, and then the extension of that, the scene that made me cry was when Sam brought him to the museum, showed Isaiah and Eli what he did for them and what the country needed to always do for them. For Isaiah mostly, and for the people he lost, his fellow comrades. That memorial was so powerful, so huge, and just when Isaiah started to fucking tear up, I just couldn't help it. I'm like, hug him. I'm like, he shakes his hand, I'm like, he's gonna hug him, and I'm crying, and he hugs him, and it's just really emotional, really, really, really good. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, they might just have to do it and make it work well in some way, where they do like a prequel Disney Plus series about Isaiah Bradley. They could do a 6-episode arc too. They could do a full blown storyline about Isaiah Bradley. Have someone awesome play him, a younger version of him. You could do Ray Fisher even, who played Cyborg in Justice League. He could play him. I could even see him playing him. Like, you could do that series. People would watch it and love it. I know I would. I don't know. Maybe it's not necessary, though. We kind of learn everything we need to learn, but then maybe we didn't learn everything we need to learn. So maybe there's more to learn, and that's what the series would expand on. I don't know. Just food for thought. And, is that it? So yeah, Carly she gets killed by Sharon. Again, see, that was just so... I'm glad that the speech came right after that, because it just completely made me forget about Sharon's bullshit. And then I had to go and watch the post-credit scene. If you didn't watch the post-credit scene, you should, because it does kind of set up for the movie. Power Broker should be the villain, because they need to expand on Sharon for it to make more sense. They need to. Yeah, that's just not lining up for me, man. But and also, if you didn't notice this, it was kind of confusing for me in the moment, so I needed to kind of take another look at it. When the arrested Flag Smashers are taken away in the car and it blows up, that was Zemo. Zemo killed all them. Zemo had that truck blown up. And that's why Valerie Allegra de Fontaine says that Zemo took care of that little problem. And in the moment, I didn't quite realize what she meant, but it was him who did that. And that was it. There was a nice little, kind of happier celebratory ending to it all. back home and celebrating with Sarah and everything, and Sam and Bucky and everything. Yeah, I think that's it. But it was really good. It was a really good episode. It was a good finale. Was it great? Was it amazing? No, I suppose not. But I mean, dude, I cried. It was definitely powerful. I'm going to say it was great. I'd probably give it, like, if I were going to give it a number, I'm going to do numerical. I haven't been doing numerical for these. 8 point something. It's high eights, probably. I don't know. Good, really good, and I can't wait to see what happens next. You know, this has been a setup for these characters going forward. They'll pop up in movies. They'll pop up in TV shows again. They might be another season, even though they're doing a movie. So we have the movie, and we might have another season, and they'll pop up, obviously. But I think Sam has proven most of all here that he is a leader. Before he was a sidekick. Now he's the guy, man. And he's proven time and time again throughout this whole series, trying to make wise decisions left and right and trying to do the right thing and then finding a way to do so. And his speech to Bucky in last week's episode, his speech today, it's very much leadership qualities, and he's solidifying himself as the next leader of the Avengers already. And as you know, the Avengers is never led by one person. It's more like Steve and Tony kind of did it together. So, I could see Sam and Carol maybe as the two, or Sam and, I don't know, Sam and even Rhodey, dude. I mean, you want the next Cap and the next Iron Man? There they are. But don't forget we have Ironheart coming too, so it just keeps expanding. It seems like every other month or every month, whatever, we get a new project just kind of getting revealed to us in the works. I mean, since Marvel's big reveal of everything that they're doing, we've gotten like at least 3 other projects that they've announced. And also, that's what the Untitled is. Oh, shit. Okay, so there was a slate release by Disney, and there was one Untitled Marvel movie that we didn't know what it was. Now it was the 4th Captain America. So, yeah, and I mean, Secret Invasion was another one, I think, was separate from the big announcement. There was just a couple things that came later. So it seems like we always keep learning about something new coming. Because it does keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, that's my recap, and it's been fun talking about it every week, and it sucks that it's over. But now we look forward to Loki. So get ready, because we'll be doing those. Be talking about those. Should be fun. In the meantime, enjoy my take on films that are out or coming out. And we'll start with this one in Season 2. Let's keep it rolling. Episode 51 is about Mortal Kombat. I just saw it a couple hours ago. And I guess I would say right off the bat, I did make a mistake, right? Because I was confused, like some people might have been. For some reason, I thought Liu Kang was the protagonist. But actually, no. Liu Kang is a different... I was confused about who was who there. The protagonist of this movie, Cole Young, is actually a new character that they created for the movie. Completely new character. And that's what had me confused. So Cole Young, the protagonist, new guy. And see, if you played the games, you would immediately have caught on to that. Here's the thing. That's right off the bat a big part of watching this movie. Were you a religious player of that game, or did you just play it a couple times, or did you never play it? That's the degrees of this. I played it a couple times. I don't know. I barely knew anything about it. I knew some character names, character looks, and that's it. So, that knowing the games does come into it a little bit, because there were questions popping into my head that I'm like, is this something that was in the game? And I don't know. And like, it's because I don't think the thing I've learned here is that no, a lot of this stuff has been written. It's a lot of original ideas and plot for this movie. The Mortal Kombat games did not focus on plot. It was about the tournament of fighters, and that's it. And I think that is the one thing this movie does well. It does keep most of its attention and focus on this idea of a tournament of people who need to fight, and that's it. And that's what really made it. That's what saved this movie. Because if they tried to dive into plot too much, there would be a lot of just creating a story world and trying to make some new franchise in one movie kind of work, and let's kick it off with this one, and let's have all these sequels, which they're still, I think, planning on doing. They're still gonna make sequels to this, but let's be clear, every time they started to delve into plot, it got a little bit shaky. All right, it got a little bit sloppy. So I think in regards to them keeping... Wow, I did it in the wrong order again, didn't I? Fuck. Alright, so the news is going to be second from now on, I guess. I don't know. Well, it doesn't really matter the order, does it? I swear I'm going to take this fucking thing out. I don't think I need it anymore. I really don't. Do I need it? Look, I'm not, like, talking into it. I'm going to take it out. I'm not going to do it right here on the episode, but I'm going to do it. You heard it here first. Yeah, so I think them sticking with it more about this fighting of champions it helped. Okay, because I got confused sometimes. It doesn't help. Doesn't help if you haven't. I guess it doesn't help that it's based on a video game. It almost is better if you're someone who has no idea what this is about. Because I was like, I wanted to know why. That's why they were smart to not try and jump into like plot too much. But whenever they did, I just couldn't quite keep up with what they were trying to build upon. It just got confusing there. Cole was a cool character. Cole was relatable, and I empathized with it. Like he was easy to follow. But I think fans of the game would probably be like, wow, we got this new guy, and at the same time we don't get some other characters from the games that we wanted to see because they had to make room for this new guy. I think the big one was Johnny Cage, right? People wanted to see him, and they don't. He's hinted at the end of the movie, so there's that. Obviously, spoilers, guys. I mean, come on. So they clearly are planning sequels and bringing in the other characters. But just to be clear about how much I know about the games and how little I played them, who is the fucking guy that sucks your soul out? Who's the main villain guy, dude? I don't remember him from the games. I don't think I used him. I don't remember that fucking guy, dude. This is how little I knew of the games. You can't... Who doesn't know Sub-Zero and Scorpion, right? They're the two most popular characters. But I always considered them the top tier guys and the meanest of the meanest, right? For some reason, I was completely drawn a blank on this other guy, this guy who was in charge of all the bad guys. I just didn't fucking know who he was. It's fine too. It's if you're just watching the movie for the movie, you don't need to know this shit. It's just sometimes I felt like I wanted to brush up on the games for some reason. But don't even fucking worry about that, okay? With this film, though, I took it the way I took Godzilla vs. Kong, okay? You gotta know what you're walking into. You gotta know that it's this big, action, violent, bloody, just thing. Like, with Godzilla vs. Kong, you gotta know you're walking into the CGI fest. With this, it's just nonstop action sequences, blood, gore, all of it, right? a lot of F-bombs, a lot of just chaotic. There's a whole chaotic nature to this film. It's like a machine of chaos. Chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. You know the thing about chaos. All right, I'm going into Joker. Went on a little Joker. I don't want to go on Joker tears tangents because I'll go all fucking night with the quotes. We don't need to do that. But yeah, it's very chaotic. I think it's kind of like a theme of this chaos almost. But the action packed and it's what you would expect. I thought there would be more literal fatalities too. I don't know why. That doesn't make sense when I think about it now. Why would someone yell out in the middle like a narrator or something like fatality? No, that's not what that means at all. The fatalities are the fatalities and the way that victories happen in the battles. Yeah, the way that someone wins, and the way that someone wins in each fight between people was all done very well. Okay, let's be very clear about that. It was the most gruesome and violent and gory thing you could expect. Some of these fatalities, man. Whew. If you want that, if you love that shit, you're gonna love this because it was cool. It was fucking wild, dude. All the fatalities were just. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Very creative, very fun. Yeah, so the idea of keeping a focus on superpowered people in a tournament, good. It was just weird and corny when they got into plot. It just didn't work. Because the thing is though, I naturally find myself drifting towards plot, so I can't help it. I'm just immediately asking questions, and I'm just like, I want answers, answers they really don't come. You get the basics are laid out for you, right? And you get the basic answers to things that you need to know, but all the little things they bring up kind of quickly, I'm like, wait a minute, well, what does that mean? And they don't answer. So thankfully they don't get into that too much, because or if they're gonna, they need to go all the way so that it's expanded on in depth and it makes sense to you, Character development is barely anything worth talking about. It's just kind of find your power and fight the bad guys. That's it. This whole idea of finding your, what's it called? A con, your power, that's how they gauged character development of each character. Every character's trying to get that power, and that allowed for the most character moments to happen. So that in terms of character arcs, that was how they gauged it, and it worked. It worked well enough. There's no problems there really. The bad guys are scary sometimes, terrifying sometimes in their own right, but they have no depth at all. Obviously, it's very one-dimensional. It's just, I want to take over the earth, and then I was a little bit kind of disappointed with how they went about our protagonist, because he doesn't kind of get his big moment that's like for himself. The whole story that you're building to him, and you want to see that moment where he takes on the big bad by himself and defeats the big bad that nobody else can beat, and they don't take that route. It actually becomes more of like a family thing, a generational thing with this family that is Cole and Scorpion, right? Hanzo Hitashishi or whatever. Their family getting, finally beating their nemesis, right? Sub-Zero is the guy that they need to beat, and they do it together in kind of like this family moment thing. So that was okay and cool, and you got to see Scorpion. You wanted to see Scorpion. But I think in terms of story, it didn't work for me that Cole wasn't the guy to be able to do it on his own. Scorpion kind of just came out of nowhere to help Cole win, you know. I don't know whether or not that was a good choice or not. I don't know. It's also weird when you have a character we watch die in the beginning, come back to life. It's never easy to do that. Narratively, every time they tried to expand on things, it didn't work. Maybe part of it's my lack of knowledge about the game, but the big thing was this whole idea about realms. They kept bringing it up, and it was confusing me. So, like, we hear about Earth Realm, but then there's in-world and out-world, and I guess one of them is Earth Realm. I don't see, like, I just don't fucking get that. And then, where does Raiden come from? Is he also from Outworld, or is he from another realm? I didn't understand the realm thing. You know, this is when they tried to get into plot and it didn't work. It just didn't. That stuff was a mess. So thank God that they stuck to this whole idea about finding your power, fighting the tournament, beating the bad guys. And thank God that they left Cole getting his powers more towards the end, because that was one of the things I was waiting for. So it helped that I was waiting for something to come finally, and happen. So Cole gets his powers late, and it worked. I wanted to see him be the guy to take Sub-Zero out, but it's fine, you know, because we do meet Scorpion in the beginning. And it's kind of like an origin thing for Scorpion that I'm assuming they made for the movie, and it's not something from the games. But, so it still worked, you know. It's funny, too. Like, there are things that don't make sense. Like, there's a moment, Scorpion says to Cole, "Thank you for freeing me. Thank you, you freed me." How? When? What did he do to free you? There's no explanation on that line at all. That came out of nowhere. It's like, how was Cole the one responsible for freeing Scorpion? Don't understand that line. It just didn't make sense. I have no idea how Scorpion came back, honestly, to life, or from hell, or whatever. Thank God for Kano. Let's talk about that for a second. Kano, hilarious, dude. The whole time he's in it, he keeps that movie just interesting with all his one-liner bullshit, everything. He's just hilarious. The humor of him just made it great. There was another element of the movie I didn't even expect to see coming that I enjoyed. And all the fight scenes were good. And all the choreography was good. But it's funny too, because like, how can Cole even fight these guys, and then he can't beat that MMA fighter in the beginning? It's like, what, dude? It's like that you couldn't beat that guy, but you can fight fucking Sub-Zero? Like, Jesus, that didn't work at all, huh? That didn't line up. Whatever, dude. And then sometimes, yes, there was a recycling of moves. I noticed this whole thing where they keep the whole tossing of an opponent into something probably happened like 50 times. But other than that, all the fighting stuff was cool. Definitely cool. And all the fatalities were very unique and creative. So I mean, you're going to enjoy that stuff. I don't know, dude. It's not like something I can break down into like something very... I can't get super like, oh, it is what it is. It was an action movie all the way through, and just pure action. It's less plot, more action. Less character development, more action. That's the kind of movie, and that's... I went in wanting to see something like that anyway. So I mean, it was just a fun movie. It was like a spectacle. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. My rating of it is a 7.7 out of 10. It's pretty good. Something anyone could watch. Let's put it that way. You can watch it and enjoy it. It's enjoyable. Definitely enjoyable. A fun ride. But don't expect it to be something where you're always going to want to rewatch it. Like, I need to rewatch Mortal Kombat. It's been a while. No, I don't see that. Maybe I don't see that. You could. But yeah, definitely go check it out. You can see it in theaters. The box office does exist, people. It's there. But also, you can watch it on HBO Max at home right now. But yeah, dude. Let's do our news of the week. I need to remember that comes first. I'm cool with the order change. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. But it was actually literally a Marvel themed week. I couldn't believe all the Marvel news that came out this week. So we'll get into all of that stuff and more right now. This was just in. I just saw this and I didn't know about it. There were two things, okay? There were two things I didn't know about that apparently were already announced. And I just want to bring them up real quick. First, they're doing a John Wick prequel series. I might have mentioned it on the show before, but I forgot. It's called The Continental. It's about that hotel in the movies, and what it actually is about is it's a prequel about Ian McShane's character when he was younger. So that's interesting to me, and I actually am very much looking forward to seeing that series when it comes out. The other thing was I did not know at all that there's a TV series in the works based in the world of Parasite, the masterpiece Parasite that won last year. I think it was last year, right? Yeah, or the year before. No, it was last year, right? Parasite, masterpiece, a phenomenal fucking film. I can't. Then now there's something I need to watch again. But there's a TV series coming out based in that world with Bong Joon-ho. He's involved, and Adam McKay is involved, and it's coming out on HBO Max. Holy fucking shit! All those things I just said in one sentence. Definitely looking forward to it. They announced today. They also announced that it's very much an original idea in the same world. So it's not going to be based on those characters. It's going to be a new idea, but based in the same world. What could it be about? No idea, but looking forward to it nonetheless. And then this was, I mentioned Captain America 4, so we don't even have to talk about it. Captain America 4 is officially in development, and that's cool. That was just announced today. Just announced. So there's that. And then Russell Crowe has confirmed, this is follow-up, legit follow-up. Russell Crowe confirmed that he's playing Zeus. And I predicted it, didn't I? Right here on the show a couple weeks ago. I said if I could see Russell Crowe playing anybody, dude, it's Zeus. Or one of the Greek gods, right? And it looks like he's confirmed it. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus added another cast member after already revealing quite a cast. They revealed, a couple weeks ago they announced their full cast, and they added Maya Erskine as well to the cast. So just a late addition, but that is coming, and I very much looking forward to that. And if you're not, then just don't fucking watch it, dude. And don't pretend to be a Star Wars fan. Okay? The people who say they're Star Wars fans, but only like the original trilogy, they're just cinema fans. They're not Star Wars fans. That's how I define things. That's how I define it now. If you're fans of the original trilogy of Star Wars, but nothing else in Star Wars, you are just a regular cinema fan, because who doesn't like the original Star Wars trilogy? It's so basic and obvious, a likable thing. It's a cinematic achievement that everyone who loves cinema loves. That's all you are. You are not a Star Wars fan. A Star Wars fan is someone who loves that universe so much they embrace every new creative decision that comes along in that universe. That is a Star Wars fan. Disney, Sony set big moves. I brought this up. Let's talk about the Marvel things real quick. We'll run them down. I'll talk about the big thing too that I'm really looking forward to at the end. Disney and Sony have made a deal as well. So Spider-Man films, like I said a couple weeks ago, are going to be coming out on Netflix after their theatrical runs. But now, after the Netflix runs, they're coming out on Disney Plus as well. So we do get the Disney Plus release of Spider-Verse films. That's all Spider-Verse films. It's the Spider-Man films, it's Venom, it's Morbius, anything in the Spider-Verse, it'll be on Disney Plus with everything else Marvel. So if you're a big streamer of Disney Plus and of Marvel, this is good news. And that deal lasts until 2026. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, speaking of Spider-Man sequel, is moving forward with new development here. It casted or signed a directing trio of directors. So three guys directing it, or three people. I don't actually know if it's three guys. Could be two girls and one guy, or three girls, or two guys and one girl, or three guys. This is starting to sound like I'm planning out a porno or something. All right, let's move it forward. Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, The Last of Us Part 2 lead the Game Developers Choice Awards nominees. Some video game news. Still trying to get a PlayStation in my apartment at some point, so that I can play those games, especially Ghost of Tsushima. George Miller's Furiosa is set to be Australia's most expensive, biggest film shoot of all time, dude. After receiving financial incentives. Holy shitballs. Yeah, that's going to be something. Anna Taylor-Joy is playing the young Furiosa. Star Wars The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson is hoping to direct episodes of The Mandalorian going forward. Yes. Please do, Rian. Please do. I'm one of those people who thought The Last Jedi was very creative and very unique in its own way, and very just pushing the boundaries in new directions for Star Wars, and I liked it a lot. I think he would do great to continue on in this universe in some way, shape, or form. Don't forget, his trilogy's still coming. Yeah. We never hear about it, but Olivia Colman joined the Secret Invasion series on Disney Plus. And she's not the only one. But hold on. Let me make sure I don't forget anything. The Shang-Chi trailer dropped, obviously. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. I would play it right here, right now with you, and because I'd love to watch it again, actually. But I don't want to do that too much. I don't want to play videos in my videos too much, because then it's just another episode that I can't monetize if I potentially start to actually get views and following here. Alfred Molina talks about how there's going to be digital de-aging in Spider-Man No Way Home. So that's interesting to think about. Time travel might come into this. Not just multiple dimensions, but time travel. Different timelines. Why would they need to, or maybe just because he's older. I don't know. But de-aging technology is involved. You know what I'm starting to realize too? I think I'm too close to this now. I think my ears are hurting from hearing. I'm hurting my eardrums, I think. Fuck out of here. Go give me my personal space. I think we need to just a little bit. That's better, right? God, I was fucking blowing my eardrums out. Okay. Holy shit. And then I brought this up today as well, but I'll also put the pictures up right now. There have been set photos for Thor: Love and Thunder showing Christian Bale, who shaved his head. He went bald for his next role as Gore the God Butcher. Yeah, he jumped right over into Marvel, and now he could be around for a while in Marvel. So, no more Bruce Wayne, a Marvel villain in Thor. And we've got to see that he's taken the first steps into becoming that character. Wow, that was the first thing this week, too. Yeah, it was just right off the bat, Marvel. But the big thing I want to talk about, and my prediction for it, is this. Okay, Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, who played Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones, has joined the cast of Marvel's Secret Invasion on Disney+. Now, could she be trading in one role as a queen for another role as a queen? Here's what I think. Now, before I say this, do you remember Talos in Captain Marvel, the Skrull? He had a daughter in that film that people started to theorize might grow up to be the Skrull Queen. And sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but I think it's Varanke or Varanki. Not sure. But that queen goes on to be the person who leads the invasion of Earth. And she's a villain. So I'm predicting, I think what she did too was she shapeshifted into Spider-Woman for a while, and then she revealed herself to be a Skrull, and it was Varanke. And I'm predicting now, here and now, that the next queen that Amelia Clarke plays is the Skrull Queen herself, Varanke. I think that Amelia Clarke might potentially be playing her. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not, or if it gets revealed in the coming weeks. But that should be interesting. Definitely. I was wondering what Amelia Clarke was going to... I mean, I was like, it's either going to be Star Wars or Marvel, and she already did Star Wars. Here she is, joining Marvel, joining the Marvel Universe, and I couldn't be more psyched for it. But that is the news of the week. So let's do a couple quick segments for fun and wrap this one up as Season 2 kicks off. The fun fact of the week this week. Mortal Kombat seems to be all about fighting, doesn't it? So my fact this week is about Fight Club. Don't know why, just my mind went to it. Because it had the word fight in the title, maybe, I guess. But it's an amazing fucking movie, so let's talk about something maybe you didn't know. The idea for the book Fight Club, the story itself, came from an actual fight experience the author Chuck Palahniuk had while on a camping trip with his friends. When Chuck told some other campers their radio was too loud, a brawl broke out. Monday at work, his coworkers didn't seem to even notice his incident, even though his face was all smashed in from it. From there, the idea for Fight Club was born. Fighting is at the root of this film. For authenticity, no one knows better how to get it than David Fincher, the director of the film. The scene where Edward Norton's, the narrator, punches Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden, Pitt's reaction is real, because while rehearsing the scene beforehand, Norton was meant to throw a soft punch to Durden's shoulder. But David Fincher whispered in Norton's ear right before rolling, telling him to punch Pitt in the ear. So Pitt's reaction is...
Motherfucker! You hit me in the ear!
Was completely genuine. Ah, Fincher, you sneaky little creative genius, you. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's a little clip in the episode. Question of the week. Last week I asked, what is the best MCU film of all time? I gave everybody my top 10. I don't know why people don't want to get involved in the conversation. It's simple. It's a simple fucking question with simple answers. You just gotta comment what your favorite one was. Because there's plenty to choose from. Whatever, dude. You want to be boring? Be fucking boring. Trying to have a little fun here. Get involved. Then, of course, I know some of you haven't even seen some of these movies. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Whew. This week I ask, who is your favorite action hero in cinema? And that's kind of a broad I know, it's like action, there's a whole shit ton. But I'm kind of going to break it down into the usuals, right? We got Jason Bourne, we got Ethan Hunt, we got John McClane, we got the Terminator. Like, there's specific recurring action heroes. And I want to know what your favorite one is. My favorite is Jason fucking Bourne, because how can it not be? It's close. I love Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible, but oh my god, it's Jason Bourne. James Bond's in that category too. Like, there are a few that you could go for. Who's your favorite? Let's do the quote of the week and we'll get on out of here. So, you found God, huh? That's awesome. See, Mom kept calling out for him, but he wasn't around. I guess Jesus was down at the mill forgiving all the drunks. Who knew? Name that movie. And this week on Caught My Attention, there's the obvious. In some very good news, Derek Chauvin, the police officer charged with the murder of George Floyd, was officially convicted and sentenced for the murder of George Floyd, and he is out. Audi 5000. See you later, buddy. Derek Chauvin. Is it Chauvin or Covin or Derek Dickhead? How about that? Derek Dickhead. Derek DD, you fucker. Yeah. Examples in this case definitely needed to be set. Like, that needed to happen. So that's the obvious. That was this week. It caught my attention. Caught everyone's attention. This is cool. I love this new setup right here, by the way. So, come back. We have a lot of cool movies coming up to talk about. But as usual, the people who keep the lights on, somewhat. Let's shout out to our patrons. Shout out to Billy Thomas, Jessica Murphy, Michael Morganti, T-John Construction, Doolin Morganti, and Linda Morganti. Yes, that's a lot of my fam. Shout out to my fam. Thanks for the support always in everything I do, not just this. I know you guys are always there. I know you're always there. Phone call away. But yeah, I am the Ben Morganti. Yeah, you can follow me at DeBenji, or you can follow the show. You definitely want to go follow the show. I have a fun little account on Instagram where I keep you up to date and I keep you informed, and that means the same thing is up to date, dude. Informed and up to date mean the same thing. Yeah, follow at Screen Preach. Follow me. Subscribe to BMS Studios on YouTube. And you want to check out my website, it's benmorgantistory.com. I might change it to bms.com, but for now it's benmorgantistory.com for my written works and other content. Get the word out, people. Go ahead, spread my website around. You know what I mean? Because I got my real works on there, and I think it's pretty decent stuff. I think it's better than decent, but I'm me, and I wrote them. But yeah, and then of course, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/preacher, and you can become a patron and get shout outs right off the bat. You become a patron, get a shout out on the show. If you sign up for the $10 tier, you get free merch every time there's a merch drop, so that's cool. And then of course there's other tiers. But yeah, that is the show this week, and thank you for watching or listening. Have a cinematic week.